Hello, everyone. Welcome to the FPL Mana podcast show with your host, the FPL Mana. My name is Adiwali, and yes, I'm back. Champions League is back. We are going to be, feeding ourselves consistent content here on Champions League Fantasy, and I'm so excited to be here. Although a little bit tired from the day, but I managed to squeeze out time from the day. It's already 5 p.m. here, West African time, so minutes to 5. And I just have to find out time out of my day, still dressed up, to take up my mic and record for a beautiful Champions League campaign that's about to start in a few hours' time. You're welcome. I'll soon be showing you my screen, showing you what I have in mind for what we have to do for the new season. However, first of all, I would like to announce a few things. I want you guys to join our RotoBaller League. We have a new league this season. I want you guys to join our league, and the league code is FgwcbH. F and H are uppercase letters, so please take note of that. I would like you guys to join our RotoBaller Champions League Fini League at code FgwcbH. F and H are in uppercase letters. That is my first my first announcement of the day. Another announcement I have is I would like you guys to also join me as we have a podcast with the champion. Last season champion is going to be here with us this week. Yes, we have a champion on our space. Next on Tuesday, last year's champion will be joining us for Champions League Fantasy deadline space on Twitter. We managed to make something work out, so he has agreed to join me and himself. We'll chat about what to expect for the new season, a few tips he has to offer us, and some other stuff. So Joaquin Urot will be joining us. That is our host for next tomorrow's campaign that's about to start. So back into it. Welcome to the FPL Mana podcast show. This is also FPL Mana. My name is Adiwali, and we're going to get straight into it. I have my talking points set here, and I'm going to basically talk about team news, injury updates we have so far. PSG are missing out FgwcbH. They're missing out Dembele and Desiree. We talk about that. Saliba is back in training with Arsenal. Will he start? Will he not start? We'll look at those prospects as well. We'll talk about the domestic form sheet. I designed the domestic form sheet talking about the entire 36 teams across their domestic leagues, seeing who is on form, who has the most goals, who has the most assists, which team has scored the most goals and most assists across each of the 36 teams. We'll look at that. We'll look at top captain picks. We'll look at differentials. My draft team as it stands, even though it's not final, so I'll call it my penultimate draft team. And yeah, that'll basically it. I'm trying to see if I can do this in 10 minutes because my laptop battery is going to die and I don't want to waste your time. So let's get this started. So let me quickly run to Twitter, open my browser, run to Twitter and show you a few things you need to know ahead of the new season. Yeah. So let's go to the Champions League game itself. Gaming.Champions League. Yes. So first of all, I think I'll start with my draft because I've been getting questions a lot on X about my draft team. So I'll start with my draft team. Because I'm not exactly done tinkering around my draft team, but I'll start with my draft team for those that are really excited to know what Mr. Wally or what Mr. FPL Manual, some people call me Mr. Manual, is thinking. What is Mr. Manual thinking ahead of the new season? What is this? Does this team look like? So I'm going to show you my team for a few minutes, then we'll get into the updates around injuries and all of that. So this is my team. Pardon, my network is a little bit laggy, but there's my team. So nothing is final here. First of all, you need to take everything with a pinch of salt. But this is my team as of the time of recording. Name of my team is Ankara Messi. And this is how it stands. I have Harry Kane, Kylian Mbappe. I'm reading it out for those that are not seeing my screen on YouTube and listening to us on Spotify. Harry Kane, Kylian Mbappe. My third striker is Luis Diaz. As it stands, I'm still going to make some changes. Mohamed Salah, Kenan Yildiz, Andre Goulet, Gostil, Rafinha in the midfield 5. Then in defense, I have Romero, Califori, Hoysen, Rodiner. Rodiner is actually injured, so I have to make a change there. Vicario, and I think I have I have Hakimi on the bench as well, and Juan Garcia. That's my current 15 team to start the season. However, I'm still going to make some changes. We're getting some team pressers. I've seen Arsenal. I've gotten in some of their players back from injury. I can see Saliba is in training. But that segues us into the injury updates concerning our Champions League teams. Let's see which teams have the most injury concerns. So for injury update, I think the major injury news that we should talk about is Barcelona's Lamine Yamal, who is out for a significant amount of time, but um, specifically, he will not be available for the game against Newcastle on Thursday. Remember that match day one, we have 3 days where we have about 36 games that we played, or rather 18 games that we played, stretched across 3 days. So 6 games my first day, 6 games second day, and the 6 games, 6 more games on the third day, that is Thursday. So injury concerns, I can see some news here from BVB news blog saying that Aaron and Semino will miss the game against Juventus due to a muscular problem. William Saliba is back in full training pre the Bilbao match for Arsenal. Today's training. Let's see if we're available. Arsenal have the first early kickoff on Tuesday. We'll see if our man Saliba makes the main XI. We have some injury concerns around Lamine Yamal, who is going to miss out the first game. We've not gotten a serious update concerning with Barcelona on what is his update, will he be available, but we know he missed the 6-0 win against Valencia. He was not involved, he missed out that game, so we're very certain he's not most likely going to be available for the game against Newcastle away from home. They'll most likely not travel with him. Atletico Madrid have David Hanko out as well, who, the club is still awaiting more tests to see if he's the length of his injury, but he's out, so that would be a big miss for the red and whites as they travel to face Liverpool at the Anfield on Wednesday. We have some other injuries. Up and down. Okay, I finally got it to Lamine Yamal. Lamine Yamal is practically ruled out, but we'll wait to see more updates. But as it stands, he's unavailable to play for the Thursday game. So I mentioned this will be a very short podcast. However, if I will do a lot of injustice if I don't talk about one of the major injury concerns. Paris Saint-Germain, the current winners of the Champions League, winning with Desiree, Kvaratskhelia, and Dembele himself, but not your candidate in the front three, are missing their entire front three. And their recently lined up in the weekend game they played against, was it RC Lens? They won 2-0. And Bakola was the one that did all the business. That was his third goal of the season. Scored 2 goals that match, making it 3 goals for him in the French team. And he is the kind of player we want to have for our Champions League teams. However, PSG are missing out on some key players. This is a report from one of the PSG major pages I follow, like a fan account in French, saying that Ousmane Dembele is out, Desiree is out, Kang In Lee is also out, and there's a name missing here. Beraldo was subbed off with an injury concern, and he might be also out. But we have Fabian Ruiz and Seni Mayulu, who will be returning back and should be available for the Atalanta game that will be played on Wednesday. So what do we do about PSG assets? Do we avoid? Do we invest? They are champions. Their first games at home. More on that later. But that's basically it for injury news. I mean, there's more I've probably not covered for other teams like, I don't know, Newcastle or Bayern Munich, Munchen, and other teams I've completely not covered, but I'll try and do that on my own Twitter page on X at the FPM Manor. So follow me for more updates. I'll try and do a thread. I don't know if I'll have the time, but I will try and do something of that nature. So now my next segment here is the domestic form sheet. So I designed a domestic form sheet. This thanks sponsored by RotoBaller. I designed a domestic form sheet for our preseason, in our preseason segment for the Champions League, showing which teams have the best form right now, or at least on paper, which team has scored the most goals, at least for you to know. And I'm going to leave you guys on YouTube that are watching me to take a moment to pause the screen if you want. this is the sheet I'm talking about here. It's like a stat pack of which team has done well so far. So this is the sheet, but I'll try and sort it out based on which teams have scored the most goals from this sheet I've designed here. So I'm going to put a filter here and sort it based on which team has scored the most goals. So if we sort it based on most goals scored, it looks like PSV have scored the most goals so far. In 5 games, they've scored 17 goals and have considered 8. And Van Bommel has 3 goals. Perisic has 4 assists. Some in other areas, I'm seeing Sporting CP has scored 15 goals, considered only 4. Club Brugge has scored 15 goals, considered only 3. Or rather, I think there's a mix-up here. It's supposed to be USG. USG have scored 15 goals. USG has scored 15 goals, considered only 3, while Club Brugge have scored 6 goals, considered 7. So just this kind of a form sheet across teams in Europe, showing you their pedigree so far in the season. I think Barcelona scored 13 goals, considered only 3 as well. Rafinha, with top goal scorer there with 3 goals. That two of those goals came from yesterday's match against Valencia when they won 6-0. So this is like a form sheet. I'll be posting this later on the RotoBaller website for you two guys to like see properly. I'll write about it definitely. Some teams here have higher numbers, like Bodo Glimt, who have played 21 games across the year and have scored 58 goals. So I will kind of ignore those guys, like Copenhagen to have played 8 games this season in the Danish league, the Dane league, scored 19 goals, considered 10 thereabout, and some other teams like that. I think the only team here that is kind of struggling in terms of goals scored is Pafos, who have only played 2 matches and scored 1 and considered 1, and Qarabag, who have scored only 3 goals and considered 2 as well. So I'll be sharing this later on the RotoBaller website, so stay tuned for an article that will coming out tomorrow. Unfailingly, by the grace of God, I will have time to write that tonight before going to bed. Our next segment is top captain picks. Off the top of my head, if I was going to pick anybody to captain across the 3 days we have, we have Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. I'll say day 1, Kylian Mbappe is a top captain pick, definitely a top captain pick. Looking at the form sheet I mentioned, he has about 4 goals and also has contributed a lot of assists. 4 goals and 3 assists, if I'm not mistaken, on 1 assist. 4 goals and an assist or so this season. Yes, Mbappe, 4 goals and an assist this season. That is Mbappe's stats. Andre Goulet is also not too far away from him, 2 goals and an assist to his name. So, but top captain picks, let me not go off track. Kylian Mbappe for the first day. There are some other differential options you could consider, like Perisic against Union SG. Although that game might be open, it's a bit too much open, but Perisic has a very good record in the Champions League at home with PSV. And there's some other differential captains. Tottenham is also at home. You could consider captaining the Tottenham defender. They have done so well in set pieces of late with Arsenal. Those are the 2 teams that are kind of bossing the set piece narrative this season. So you could consider captaining a Tottenham defender who are at home, or double up on Tottenham defense. But top captain for the day 1, you could go with Mbappe. Maybe Madueke could make himself an option too, because he was impressive the weekend game against Nottingham Forest. Yeah. So day 2, top captain pick here, I would say Harry Kane. Hell, there's no really a doubt here. Harry Kane, his numbers has been crazy this season. In 3 games, he already scored 4 goals. He also has the most assists for Bayern Munich this year. So he's just the only player there. Differential captain, probably an Inter defender against Ajax, which is a tough one, or an Olympiacos asset. Olympiacos have also been on fire in the league. They have scored 9 goals and considered 0 in the Greek league. So you could consider them, or you could go for Salah or an Inter defender, or like I mentioned before. So my third top captain pick this week will be Man City's Erling Haaland on Thursday against Napoli. I mean, Man City sometimes struggles in the big games, but recently Haaland has just been on form. 5 goals in the national stage for his Norwegian team, and coming back to Man City, he did well against rivals Manchester United. Even though Man U technically they have not really been on form, I feel maybe that form could help Man City get a result against Napoli, which is the one of the tough starts they have gotten this year in the Champions League. Let's see if they can turn that out. Differential captain will definitely be a Sporting CP player here against Kairat Almaty. The guys from Kazakhstan. Let's see if Luis Suarez or Pedro Goncalves, who has 4 goals and 3 assists, could give us returns in that final day. Obviously, you cannot sleep on Rafinha, who will be available on the right wing this time in one of his favorite positions. Let's see if he's going to be a top captain pick for those who do not have like a major captain return between Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday will be their saving grace. Differential captain or differential asset to look out for. I posted about him yesterday. His name is Quenda, playing for Sporting CP. He is a winger, but has been classified as a defender for some reason. It's very weird. I completed last week that Joachim says was classified wrongly as a midfielder when he's the left back / right back in Club Brugge, but I didn't think we'll be favored to see a mistake fall on our laps, and we have one in the name of I can't pronounce the first name well, so I'll just say G Quenda. We have G Quenda. G Quenda is an 18-year-old that is breaking to the first team. Recently won the Liga Portugal Young Player of the Year, and he's here to cook. He has about 3 assists so far. He has only gotten 1 start this season. So my system is slow. Only gotten 1 start this season, but has been very, very much impressive. There seems to be a narrative in Sporting CP around who starts on the right wing, whether it is Quenda and Vanglidis or so, I can't pronounce his name well, or Geni and Frensda for Fresneda. There seems to be a narrative. The coach seems to look for. He's trying to pattern who is the best combination on that right wing, and it seems so far that even though he has not been starting every match, he has made a much impact with his averaging 1.7 goal creating action per 90 in just 5 games played, which most of them were not even from the start. So he's a very good option to consider. He's a winger. He's started out a winger. He's not a defender. So, but he's priced at 5 million. That's the same price with a lot of good defenders that we would like to have. My battery is running low now, and I have to shut this podcast soon. Thank you guys for tuning in. Those are my picks of the week. We'll do this another time again, and see you guys in the Twitter space coming up tomorrow. Have a nice day. Hope that this was helpful. I've talked about captain picks. I've talked about my draft team. Mind you, I'm posting the draft later. Stay tuned for a RotoBaller Matchday 1 preview, and have a nice day. Ciao, guys. See you later.